Hello, is this thing recording? I hope it is. I think it's recording now. Hi, my name is Sigrid Solis with FCHS. Welcome to another Real Recipes. Not in my home kitchen as usual. Today we are in the RCE conference room kitchen. We are back in the office for the month of October, so for the remaining videos, remaining Real Recipes, expect to see this format. What's great about this kitchen is that we have this awesome mirror right above, so you will get an aerial view of everything happening right on the counter. So for today we have a pumpkin bread, which is great for fall. It is high in vitamin A, and vitamin A is super great for our immunity, super great for our eye health, skin elasticity, that kind of thing. The recipe that we have today is a little bit different from typical pumpkin bread recipes. I gave it a try, and I think it's a pretty good one, especially if you're looking for a pumpkin bread that is a little bit lower in sugar, a little bit higher in fiber, a little bit higher in protein for the morning, breakfast time, that kind of thing. So before we get started, because I was touching the computer, I am going to quickly wash my hands. Luckily, the sink is right behind me, so it won't take too long at all. Just 20 seconds. Ha, ha, ha. And there we are. Okay. I hope that wasn't super funny. But anyway, I'll try to project a little because I'm not sure if the sound will be captured, but if it's too loud, then we'll know. So for today, the ingredients we'll need for today, we will be needing quick oats, not rolled oats. Be mindful that we will be needing quick oats. It's always good to have both in your kitchen counter. In your kitchen cabinet. These last a super long time, and they're great for a lot of recipes. Anything from making like meatballs and like breading things, to making your own home granola, making porridges. Super great to have in your cabinet at all times. Other dry ingredients that we'll need: some flour. The recipe that I'm using today calls for white whole wheat flour. We happen to not have that in this kitchen, so that's not what I'm using today. I'm using all-purpose flour. Just gotta roll with it. In terms of other dry ingredients, I have some pumpkin pie spice, which you can buy the little container like this. It already comes with all of the pumpkin spice, with the pumpkin spice blend. So it contains all of those spices. If not, you can make your own. All you need is cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice. And then you've got yourself a pumpkin spice mix. Other dry ingredients that you will need are baking soda and then baking powder. So those will be our leavening agents. That's going to give our bread a nice rise. This recipe calls for buttermilk, which again, that is not something that I have. I did a little bit of research on what would be a good alternative, and I did happen to have, or a good substitute, I should say, for buttermilk. You can make your own with whole milk and squeeze of lemon juice. I don't know the exact ratios. I'd have to look that up, but I'll make sure to put that in the comments. I happen to have some Greek yogurt. It's 2%. So what I did for this was, it calls for 3/4 cup of whole buttermilk. I decided to use our Greek yogurt. So it would be, the ratios, it would be a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt and then a 1/2 cup or 2/4 cup of water, right? Just mixed together. You mix it with a fork. Let's see what else we will need. And then that'll give it, the acidity will react with the baking soda, also contributing to the rise. Other things that we will need for today's recipe: maple syrup, which will help sweeten our bread, and then some brown sugar. Dark brown sugar preferably. I happen to have light brown sugar, but again, it's okay. 2 eggs, and then I think that is all. Oh, and then oil. Some oil. Canola oil. I'm using olive oil. All right, so first things first, preheat your oven, 350. I am going to, you can use cooking spray to spray down your pan. You can use parchment paper if that's something that you prefer, especially in the case you're using a wire rack. Getting out that pumpkin bread while it still is hot is a lot easier if you're using parchment paper. I'm just going to be greasing my pan with a bit of the olive oil, making sure to get every corner. And a good way to test this out would be to sprinkle a little bit of flour and see if it is stuck to all the areas of the oil. And if, you know, obviously there isn't a spot with flour stuck to it, then that means you got to oil that little piece. So I believe this is sufficiently oiled. I will put this aside right here. All right, so first things first, what you'll want to do is measure out your buttermilk and make your oat concoction. So you'll do 3/4 cup of whole buttermilk and then 1/2 cup of quick cooking oats. So if I've already had this sitting for 15 minutes, that's the amount of time that you'll want it sitting. Let the yolks kind of soak up that buttermilk. From there, we'll mix all of our wet ingredients. So we'll start off with our pumpkin. We're using about 1 cup, not about 1 cup, exactly 1 cup of pumpkin, right? I'm using 1 cup of pumpkin. Get all that out. And again, so what's so great about pumpkin aside from its nutritional benefits is that kind of like when you add applesauce to a cake or to some kind of bread, it just creates so much moisture in that baked good. So pumpkin is great for that reason. Okay, so now we have about 1/2 cup of maple syrup. I've already measured that out here. There it goes. You can see from above. I think it's so cool that we have this mirror so that you guys can see. I'll give that a bit of a stir. Where's my whisk? It is not here. So that is that. Got a 1/3 cup of oil going in next. There it goes. 1/3 cup of oil, and then we've got a 1/4 cup of our brown sugar. So, like I said, not super high in sugar, which is the great thing about this recipe, especially if you're aiming to have this bread early in the morning. You know, you don't want to start off the day with something super, super sweet. At least I don't. That tends to be the case for me. All right, so I'll just get some of the clumps out of this brown sugar. All right. Sufficiently unclumped. Nice. So from there, we want 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Here I have handy dandy teaspoon measures. There she goes. And then our eggs. So I always, with any baked recipe, I always like to crack my eggs into a separate bowl in case I get any of the eggshells in there. That way I can easily take them out. Whereas if I just were to crack it right in here, if there was something wrong with the egg, sometimes you'll get some of that those red spots in there. It's easy to take it out if it's in a separate bowl, right? So that goes in there. All right. We shall give that a bit of a mix. And I'm actually going to grab my whisk for this. Give it even more of a whisk. So can you guys see the mirror above? Okay, there we go. Now I'm in frame. There we go. And then you won't have to be doing too much whisking with this. You won't even need like a KitchenAid mixer or anything like that, just because all these ingredients will incorporate fairly easily. it's not a dough that really requires a kitchen mixer. All right. So next would be our oat mixture. We dump that right in here. So again, I let the quick oats soak in the buttermilk for about 15 minutes. And again, I will link to different ways that you can substitute for buttermilk if you don't happen to have it at home, especially since they sell it in like that large quart container. I don't use it before it expires, so I always tend to have to make my own. Cooks Illustrated, which is a very reputable site, they are, I think, affiliated or a part of America's Test Kitchen, and they do a lot of testing with their recipes, so I definitely trust them. All right, and as you'll see, our mixture has lightened up quite a bit with the oat mixture. From there, we're going to whisk our dry ingredients. So in here I have about a cup and 1 cup and 1/4 cup of flour. Again, you can use white whole wheat flour, which would provide more fiber. Definitely a good flour to have on hand. In here I have 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and then a tablespoon of pumpkin spice or pumpkin pie spice. I also added in a little bit of ginger just to give it more of a kick, and a little bit more of cinnamon because I love cinnamon. And I want this kitchen to smell like cinnamon. I think that's one of the best parts about making all these fall recipes is that your kitchen just always smells so warm and inviting. So I'm just going to give that a quick whisk, right? Nothing too extreme. There it goes. And then I'm going to slowly start incorporating that into our what? Right? And we are going to whisk it until it is just about combined. Whiskey, whiskey, whisk. Oops. Got a little bit overzealous there. And this pumpkin recipe, super, super quick, super easy. It's ready. It's honestly just going to go in the pan at this point, and then in the oven for about, I think, 55 minutes, 55 to 60 minutes, depending on your oven. If you have a more efficient oven, then probably 55 minutes. All right, so that is just about combined. So you'll have a batter that looks just about like this. That's about how runny it is. That's a good consistency. I bake a lot of banana breads, and that's just about the consistency that I like for my banana breads. So I think this is good, just about good. All right, so I'm going to grab my silicone scraper and pour that right into my greased pan. And while it may be tempting to try the batter, give it a little bit of a taste, or even have someone lick the spoon or the bowl, definitely would not recommend it since we've got raw eggs in here. Although, I don't blame you, it's tempting. It's tempting. It smells so good. Right. There we go. And then we pop this in the oven. Again, our oven is at 350, and we put it in for 55 to 65 minutes. It'll be done when you can insert a toothpick and it comes out clean. Right? So this is going in the oven. There it goes. And then you should end up with a final product like so. Here is our beautiful pumpkin bread, right? So let's give it a nice test taste. Nice. So you even get a little bit of the oats in there. And again, this makes a great breakfast. Just because it's high in fiber, you got a little bit of protein from the oats. Or sorry, well, some from the oats, but then some also from the Greek yogurt. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you make it, and have a nice day. Check out our video this Friday, which will be hosted by Jen in the same kitchen. Take care.